Okay, so I've been sent over a bunch of questions from TheOtakuDad. Very, very keen to see what these questions are. So yeah, let's jump into these. Is Alonzi a full-time content creator, and is he in a comfortable position right now? So yeah, so I am full-time. I've been doing this full-time for a couple of years now. So I started in 2020. I actually started this the week that the UK went into lockdown. So I started this channel. I uploaded my first video, and then, well, first two videos, and they went off. And at that time, I just lost my job. So that week that I started doing the reactions, I actually lost my job. And at that time, UK went into a lockdown, so there was no chance of getting a job. But luckily, the channel went from 0 to 10K in that first month. So it kind of was like a thing of like, well, you might as well carry on doing this now. And since then, which was March of 2020 when we went into lockdown, and yeah, I haven't had to work, like go back to the workforce since. I've been doing that full time since then, and yeah, things are going really, really well. I'm really kind of just loving doing this. You know, it's kind of I appreciate it because it kind of saved me. You know, because obviously, of course, like I lost my job and everything like that, and things weren't looking too great, and then you get this a wonderful opportunity thanks to people watching the videos and stuff like that. So I always kind of feel like I owe it, like the channel, because it kind of gave me something that I never got before, and it kind of like got me out of a really bad situation, and obviously things are great now. So yeah, I really do owe a lot to this channel. Is there one thing that you could change in the Naruto story? What's that gonna be? That's difficult. I absolutely love Naruto. It's one of my favorite series of all time, and I owe a lot to it, especially with the channel as well. So the fact that it was long was good for me personally, as in terms of like reaction content and stuff like that. In terms of a fan of the story, now I skipped all the filler because I can. But you know, maybe that would be one thing that I would get rid of it. Also, maybe I would shorten the fourth great ninja war a little bit. I mean, that was one of my favorite arcs still. I know a lot of people say that after the Pain arc it kind of dips, but I really did enjoy that arc. But there was definitely moments where I felt like it could have been shortened down and stuff like that. But yeah, there wasn't much about Naruto that I particularly disliked. I kind of, if anything, one of the things I would have liked is for maybe other characters to have gotten a little bit more love, except Tenten. We don't really care about Tenten, and she got the exact amount of time I'm joking. But yeah, no, there wouldn't be much that I would want to change about Naruto. I mean, I love the story. I really love OG Naruto, you know, especially the soundtracks and stuff like that. Shippuden was great as well, one of the best, and obviously we're doing Boruto now on the channel. I can't say that there's too much that I would want to change. I know a lot of people have their gripes with the show, but if you consider when it was being made, you know, and whatnot, and I do actually want to check out the manga. I've bought all of the box sets that I need to check out and see, you know, be able to compare the differences. But yeah, not too many changes actually. What are your top 5 characters in Naruto? It's so tough because there are so many amazing ones. There are ones that you have like the go-tos. For me, like Kakashi and Gaara are my 2 favorite characters. But then it's difficult because there are villains that I like a lot as well. Not necessarily like I like them for what they did in the show, but just for watching them, I felt that they were just really, they added something, and they were like riveting to watch. So, I mean, I would put Madara in there as well. I think Madara is one of the greatest villains of all time. That voice actor, especially in the sub, incredible. I would also be, I would put Itachi in there as well. I think Itachi's a wonderful character. And then probably Naruto as well. Naruto is like, out of all of the, you know, MCs in all of shows, I think he is my favorite main character. You know, I mean, I love Luffy as well, don't get me wrong, but like when it comes to main characters, they're normally not my favorites. You like them, you have to if you want to enjoy the show, but yeah, he's definitely up there as well. So yeah, I would say Kakashi, Gaara, Madara, Naruto, and Itachi. Okay, so what do I think of Boruto so far? I'm really enjoying it. So I am currently I'm about 140 episodes in. Of course, I have skipped, you know, certain arcs and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people have some gripes with Boruto, but I've really enjoyed it. I think it's because I've got a soft spot for the Naruto universe, and I actually kind of really like the way that they've handled the some of the anime canon and the manga content. Is the manga content is fantastic, and I think a lot of the people that have gripes with Boruto is mainly because of the anime canon and the filler. Now, if you're just going through, and it depends how you watch it, I think. The way that I'm watching it, I'm having a really good guide. The people over on Patreon help build with me, and I feel like that's really, really kind of helped it, because it kind of, you don't have to wade through a lot of this shit. But I've really enjoyed it. I love the characters. You know, Sarada, I really love Mitsuki. There's so many good characters, and yeah, I mean, of course, the moments where they include the older characters that we already know and love, they're always going to be great, because you have that connection with them. But I love the new cast of characters, and the soundtrack is incredible. And honestly, there was an episode, if you guys have seen the Momoshiki fight, I genuinely think is up there with one of the greatest fights that I've seen in Shonen, period, and it stands above a lot of the stuff in Shippuden and OG Naruto. So I feel like it has that potential. I don't know what it goes on to do, and you know, where the manga will go, but I'm really enjoying my time. And you know, a lot of people told me don't bother with it, it's a load of shit, don't watch it, and I'm just so glad that I just, you know, I don't know whether it's because, you know, I'm older, but I just managed to kind of be like, you know, I'll just do my own thing. I'll, you know, I'll make my own judgments, and I've really enjoyed it so far. And yeah, there's been moments when it's been slow and whatnot, but all shows are like that. Find me a show that isn't, you know. But you know, regardless of what the internet says, I've enjoyed my time, and you know what? I'm not letting anyone take that away from me. Is One Piece too long? Well, I mean, I'm about 350 episodes in, and I'm loving it more and more as time goes by. And I honestly think if you're a real big fan of One Piece, I don't think you're ever going to have that problem, because if you love it, you want it to continue. And unlike a lot of shonen that is kind of like threat based and threat goal, like in Naruto, for example, it's always about external threats. If that is prolonged too long, that can just feel long. But with the way that One Piece is, you know, set up, you know, it can go on for as long because of the world building aspect and because the goal is different. So I mean, I feel like that it doesn't have like a time limit on it. And that scope allows it not to feel drawn out, because obviously there will obviously be threats and stuff that will be, you know, little arcs that can feel longer than others, of course. But I feel like the overall scope of One Piece allows it to be so long, and the fact that I'm 350 plus episodes in, and I'm only loving it more and more as it goes by, and I hear it just gets better and better as well. So I mean, like, for me, One Piece is incredible. It's one of my favorite shows ever. And yeah, the world building just makes it incredible. So I don't think it's too long. We'll see. I mean, I'm still, what, a quarter of the way through? Well, just over a quarter of the way through. So we'll see in a year's time where I am with that. But, you know, I'm loving it. Make a choice, music or anime. That one I think is actually quite an easy one for me. I'm going to have to say music, just because, well, first of all, I used to be in, you know, in a touring band for many, many years, playing shows and, you know, stuff like that. So I've always had a connection with music and being able to play it. But I also feel that if you took music out of anime, you kind of lose half of what it is. Of course, you got the voice acting and stuff like that. But I just feel like without music, you kind of lose a big chunk of anime. So I would obviously keep music, and then I would just, you know, read the manga instead. You could argue as well that a lot of the manga is better than the anime anyway in a lot of cases. So yeah, I would definitely have to go with music. All right, next up we've got horror or shonen. This is tough because yeah, I would say I think it's tough to do horror in anime if we're using this in the context of anime. So I would say shonen. So yeah, I would say shonen, because shonen definitely has the it has potential to have elements of horror and dark moments in that, which is one thing that you do see in shonen anyway. Those kind of like horror moments, and I don't think there's really been an anime that's really done like horror that good. I will say that I'm very, very excited to see what happens with the Junji Ito Uzumaki adaptation that's coming out, because I genuinely think that will probably have the potential to have some of the best like genuine adaptation of horror if done right. I mean, it looks like basically manga panels but coming to life, and I think that style, and I trust Junji Ito's, I owe so much to him, you know, and love his work, that I feel like if anything's gonna do horror, it'll be that. But yeah, if I had to pick, I'd just go with shonen. Okay, next, Jiraiya's death or Itachi's death. I mean, if you, spoiler alert, by the way, if you didn't know that, then you've just been doubled down. But I would probably say Jiraiya's death was the most hard-hitting for me. I think it's because of the father kind of connection that he had with Naruto really kind of got me, and the way that he died, obviously, in the pain arc was so horrific. Itachi's death was symbolic for many reasons, and the awakening of Sasuke, and especially once you know the context of what Itachi had been through, that was huge. But I would have to say Jiraiya, just because of how I know that it affected Naruto. I mean, you know, the Naruto scene when he sat there on the bench with the 2 ice lollies, like, I just feel like Jiraiya kind of hit in a different way. Itachi's one of my favorite characters, and Jiraiya, even though I really loved him, he wasn't one of my favorite characters, so you would think it'd be the other way around, but I just feel like in the context of the pain arc and everything that happened, I would have to say Jiraiya, but that's that's not taking anything away from the Itachi death, because that was kind of crazy. And I think also the fact that we kind of saw Itachi reanimated kind of took a little bit of shine off of that, because I actually feel like there was more of a powerful moment when the reanimated Itachi said goodbye to Sasuke. I think that was actually more powerful than his death, in my opinion. But I suppose that's up for debate, really. Rate One Piece 10 highest or 1 lowest, what would it be? Well, where I'm at the moment, I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. I just think that, like, it's just well written all around. The characters and cast are just so good. But for me, it's the world building. The potential to have that is just, I've never seen scope like it. Obviously, it's not my favorite show of all time. I mean, I would still say that Naruto is, but I think that there are things that One Piece does that no show does, and I think that is the world building, and the way that Oda can make a scene hit is unlike anything else. And yeah, I mean, I've got such amazing memories of like Skypiea and Alabasta, and you know, especially like Enies Lobby and Water 7. Like, there are some of my favorite moments in all of anime were in One Piece, and some of like the voice acting moments, you know, especially in Enies Lobby, you know, when we learn about Ohara and stuff like that. For me, it's just incredible, and personally, I just think that One Piece is genuinely a masterpiece, and I haven't even gotten just over a quarter of the way through, and I hear that, you know, you haven't seen anything yet. That's what they tell me, so I mean, we'll see. But at the moment, I'd already give it a 9 out of 10, so maybe we're gonna have to give it an 11 out of 10 at some point one day. Who knows? Why does he talk too much during reactions and doesn't pay attention? Okay, that's a silly question. I personally think. I mean, grammar problems aside with that one, I mean, I've been doing, like I said at the start of the video, I mean, I've been doing this for over 3 years full time, you know, and like over 1,000 videos. If I wasn't paying attention, you think people would know that by now. It's clearly not. And the talking too much thing always astounds me when it comes to reaction videos, because unless you want those kind of reaction channels that just sit there and and ah and don't actually add anything. First of all, copyright is like, you know, fair use. I don't know where that kind of stands, but you know, if you're coming to a reaction video, it's not to just sit there and watch anime in the corner and just have someone else sat there. You come there because you want to hear them talk, you want to hear them speak. And, you know, people will say, oh, just save that for after the video. It doesn't work like that, because, you know, you know, a little bit under the hood when it comes to YouTube, but as a content creator, we get to see the analytics side of everything, you know, and people, you know, I think it's like 90% of people click off within 5 to 10 seconds of a reaction ending or being paused. So if you were to like wait and then speak at the end of something, people will miss all of that. The amount of times I address something in the intro of a video and then the comments are asking me questions that I've already answered in the actual start of the video, but they've skipped it. It just kind of shows you that you kind of have to say, if you want to speak and you want to kind of get your point across, you really have to do it during the bulk of the video while it's happening. And I like reaction channels. I mean, I don't particularly watch them, but the ones that I do, I like ones that actually have a personality and they actually come across and say things during it, you know, rather than just sit there just making noises, you know. Like, I think you want to actually have someone that adds something to it. But yeah, I mean, I would ask that person who ever said it. They obviously haven't watched many videos, because I mean, I've dedicated, you know, over 1,000 videos to the channel or series, and got to the end, and you know, I know that journey's meant a lot with a lot of people, you know. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a silly question. I don't know much about the person that asked that, but you know, I don't know what kind of reaction channels they watch, but you know, if If you want a reaction channel that just kind of sits there and doesn't make a lot of noise and whatnot, unfortunately, we don't serve that here. But, you know, all the best to you. And the final question, which is, what makes people watch your content and what makes you special as a content creator? I don't think there's anything particularly special about a reaction content. I think it's more about the way that you make people feel. And, you know, with reaction content, a lot of the time what you're doing is you're essentially helping people to reminisce about stuff that they've already seen. They want to relive something, but they can't. You know, like everyone wants to watch Death Note for the first time or Naruto for the first time. And, you know, there are certain things that you can never do that. So watching through reactions is a big part of that. And it also gives you a community thing, you know, like I think the thing that I really like is we've kind of built a community around people, you know, like we end up like sharing things. And I really like that. It really helps emphasize the experience. And, you know, like, especially with like Naruto, for example, you know, watching that from having no idea what the show was about to it becoming something that I literally got inked on my skin because it means that much to me, and sharing that for the first time in front and people just seeing it as it happens, I think is a big thing. And, you know, especially with Project Senpai, the second channel that we've got, the group reaction channel, that is something that I really hold dear as well, because it's, you know, like two friends doing it together and whatnot. But when it comes to like making special, I don't think you could say any reaction channel is particularly special. I just think it's about how they make you think and the point of view that they have. You know, everyone has their different angles. Some people do them live on Twitch and then just upload them to YouTube. Some people, so that's a kind of like more of an in the moment kind of thing. Some people like to have like deep analytical long videos, and some like them short. And, you know, I think it depends on really what kind of taste you're into. So I don't know where I would sit in all of that. I think that I like to think about things deeply. I like to put my point across, and also like to, you know, just have fun and be myself. You know, when it comes to the videos, I don't like to try and put on an act. I like to try just being me. And, you know, if some people don't like the style, I wouldn't change for anything, because I want to kind of be myself. And the audience that I think the audience that you end up having will be a reflection on the kind of style of content. If you're a toxic creator, you'll have a toxic environment. If you have a happy, all good vibes, you'll have that. If it's, you know, whatever it is. And I want to just be surrounded by like-minded people. I think the one thing that stands maybe about my channel is I came to it old. I say old, I turned 32 soon, but I only started watching anime recently. I got into manga first and only got into anime. I basically started the channel to document me getting into anime, so maybe that was something. So a lot of the big series, the ones that people grew up with, I never experienced that as a child, so I experienced it as an adult. So maybe that's it. But yeah, it was a long answer, but yeah, I mean, there you go. But yeah, that's absolutely everything for this, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And yeah, thank you to TheOtakuDad for these comments, these questions. I had a blast doing it, and yeah, thanks for watching.